Okay. You both are in the same place?
No, I'm not at the same place. I'm working in a company, Robert Bosch. In
Okay,
Center
okay.
for
Okay.
Research. Industry, I'm working. He's in. Yeah.
Acha, acha.
Yes.
Okay. Chalo. So, Soham, should we start?
Yeah, sir. We can start, I think, now. So Sandeepan is there. Sandeepan, I'll just introduce Sandeepan was Sandeepan and Arijit. They started this SCML group. So both of them did their MTech from NIT Durgapur.
Oh,
And Sandeepan was my classmate at this at Jawahar Engineering College.
hi, Sandeepan. How are
Hello,
you?
sir. Hello, sir. Yeah, hello. Fine, sir. So it is a great opportunity for all our SML group members that we finally reach you, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, who else is there besides you?
Bhuvesh is there. Sir, Bhuvesh is there. Do you remember him? Bhuvesh. Give a hi to sir.
Yes, yes, Bhuvesh. Where's Bhuvesh? Just ask him to come on. Line.
Bhuvesh. I think he has muted himself. Bhuvesh? Yeah, okay. I hope he will appear in between somewhere.
No problem. So,
Okay.
should we start?
Yeah, we can start. Okay. Let me just introduce. Let me just start this the proceedings. So, I think we don't need to introduce Professor Kiran Seth in the sense that as to outline his contributions. But I'll still like to outline that I know him because he is a professor. He was my professor at IIT-Delhi and still is actually. So he taught me about 2 courses. So, but other than that, what I can say about him that he's a very, very good human being, a fantastic human being, and that is what Ravi Yadav told me when I had joined, that if there is something to learn from Kiran sir, then it is humanity. And I think Laksha sir will also agree with him. Bhuvesh also, by the way. So
Yeah, absolutely. I also agree with you, sir.
and
Thank you.
Still, I'll just give a very brief bio of sir. That sir was did his BTech from IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur actually, Kharagpur also, yeah, Kharagpur, and then he went to do his doctorate at Columbia University, and after that he worked at Bell Labs, but then he came back to India and joined IIT Delhi in 1976. Since then, he has been teaching here. As a teacher, he has been there since 1976. But he founded SPICMACY in 1977. I think one of his reasons to come back to India was this call, which he had, like the Buddha had an enlightenment at some point of time. So Kiran sir also had also got a sort of enlightenment after he went to a concert in the US, right, sir? So, and I'll also tell this thing that Kiran sir's father, Professor Bhojraj Seth, was the first professor of IIT ever, and first professor that. So in a way, he was like the founder of IIT Kharagpur in 1950-51. So, and I also know him in this sense that he also founded the university under which I studied during my undergraduate. That was Dibrugarh University. So, and other than that, as Professor Suresh Chandra had told me that sir's father had a role in establishment of all the first 5 IITs. So I think, other than that, sir himself is the winner of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award, I think in 1995, if I'm not wrong. I had read in the book.
No, not the Sangeet Natak Academy Award. I haven't got the Sangeet Natak Academy Award.
So, which award was it, sir?
I just, well, there's small other awards here and there, but no award like that.
But in your Wikipedia page, it is given. So I think we have to.
Member of the governing council.
Oh, okay, member. Okay, I see. Sorry. So you're the member. But whatever be it, I think NDTV had once told that sir is responsible for keeping classical music alive among the youth of India, and for 2 generations now. So and also he was also the winner of Padma Shri in 2009, 8 or 9, I think. 9. So I think Divyansh is also here, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Divyansh is also here. Divyansh, if you could say a hi to sir. It'd be good. So, Divyansh, can you listen?
Hello, sir.
Hi,
Very happy
Divyansh.
Teachers Day, sir. Hi, how are you?
Thank you. You're now graduating, right? Where are you
Yes, sir.
going? Where are you going,
I'm go.
Divyansh?
I've joined IIM Ahmedabad.
I'm Ahmedabad. Very good. Congratulations. Congratulations. Wonderful.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much, sir.
Started there? Have
Pardon,
the
sir?
classes have the classes begun in IIM?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so all the very, 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 very best to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for always being such a huge motivation for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll like this session will be because sir has always told us that right since 2017 I have heard from him that how music has had a role in the development of the mathematical mind, and when he says the mathematical mind, he not only means mathematics, he also means a sort of an intellect which is required in almost all pursuits of knowledge. So everyone needs the intellect, the understanding of things in their particular field, and I think I think that is how Sir has introduced us to music. Like he has made us connect, and I really have felt like when you go for such pursuits, when you listen to classical music, it is a sort of a meditation. It takes you into a different dimension. And Sir has repeated something which was told to me by my father once when I was young, small. So he had told that doctorate in philosophy or once doing PhD here, because there are a number of PhD students out here or aspiring PhD students. So PhD is like doctorate in philosophy. You become a philosopher. You are not a PhD in mathematics or history or literature. You are basically a philosopher at a point of time. And how does one become a philosopher? That is what this, in a brief, it outlines what Sir is going to say today. And so it is relevant to everyone, and even people who are working, how they will be motivated in their work life by this. I think now I will just hand it over to my friends. So Arijit Nandi is here, and he will just introduce the SCML group. Arijit and Sandeepan, both are here. I think they also founded the SCML group, and so I'll just request them to just introduce the group in brief to Sir and also to the new members. There are a lot of new members today, and that is great for us. So, if Sandeep,
thank you, Shubham. So first of all, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Kiran Seth sir on behalf of all the students, those who have got benefited by the initiatives taken by SPICMACY and Kiran Seth sir of promoting and introducing our very own Indian art, culture, and music to the young generation of this country. Thank you very much, sir, for all your contributions. And the country is really lucky to have faculties and teachers like you. And we express our gratitude to you on this auspicious occasion of Teachers' Day. So now I would like to give a small introduction of the SCML group. SCML, that is Soft Computing and Machine Learning, is a WhatsApp-based group created in 2019 with the objective of encouraging scientific and technical research-related discussions among its group members. The subject of discussion mainly include artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and engineering optimization. At present, we have members from different IITs, NITs, IIITs, Indian central and state government engineering institutes, Indian private engineering institute, and few European and American technical institutes. Continuing this objective of encouraging scientific and technical research-related discussions among the young researchers, we are organizing our 4th webinar, and it's our pleasure to have Padma Shri Dr. Kiran Seth sir among us in our today's webinar. Thank you, sir. Sir, your mic is muted, sir. Your mic is muted, sir.
Yeah. Shall I start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, I thank Arijit, Sandeepan, and most importantly, I thank Soham for inviting me here, because Soham has been really a wonderful student, a very, very committed person. And all of them are committed, but I'm just saying I've had the opportunity of knowing him a little bit more, and that's why I can say, vouch, that he has got this wonderful thing called commitment. Now, you know, as you all are all into, this group is into machine learning and artificial intelligence, and all this this whole area. I will start off by giving a small example of what a faculty member at IIT Delhi, by the name, very bright faculty member who teaches neural networks and, you know, this whole area in electrical engineering. His name is Dr. Pratosh. We called him for a small lecture, and he said something very beautiful. I'll start off with that. He said that, you know, by the way, Dr. Pratosh studied in a Gurukul. Up till 12th class, he studied in a Gurukul. And then he did his PhD from Indian Institute of Science. So I asked him, how did he manage? He studied in a Gurukul, and then he went off to Indian Institute of Science and did a very good PhD, it seems. Very, very good work. So what he said was what I'm going to repeat again and again, that what does this Gurukul do? The Gurukul, the traditional way of teaching, what it did was, it taught you to learn how to learn. If you learn how to learn, then you can learn anything. There's no problem. It's just like, you know, what we are doing. We are studying, but we are not learning how to study. If we learn the procedure of how to study, what we are studying will come in a jiffy, like that. So this is the greatness of our Gurukul system, number one. Number two, what he said was very nice. He said, look, so many people, so many engineers, technologists, scientists, thousands of them, working on doing what? Setting up a driverless car. Okay? So we have a driverless car, Teslas, okay? Now, what happens is, he says that it's a fantastic thing. Like, you know, this neural networks, artificial intelligence is fantastic. He says, what does it do? It takes a set of inputs, does a transformation, and gives you a set of outputs. And what you want to find out, which, if you want a particular output, what inputs will you have to give? In some sense, I'm giving a very, very global way of describing it. So he says the output is what we want to get. And the output is the objective function in some sense. Now, he says that the West has done remarkable work in finding out this transformation T. But it has not gone up to that level in describing the objective function. He says the objective function is very small. For example, he says, so what if you have a driverless car? I mean, say thousands of lives have been spent on just getting a driverless car. So what? So he said the objective function is very small. But in our country, the objective function was Vishal. Very, very big, Vishal objective function. That is the difference. Okay, now I'm going to read out two small articles which I've written, and this will form the basis of what I'm going to talk about. Okay, Is it okay if I speak for about half an hour? What is the time limit? I don't know what time you want me to speak. I'll cut the coat according to the size.
No, sir, no problem. We have time.
Tell me, I'm very particular about time. From now, starting now, how much time, because the actual lecture starts now, how much time should I speak? You tell me that, and I'll do it accordingly.
Sir, as per the schedule that we have made yesterday, so it was up to 3:15 to 3:20, sir. You can have time, sir.
I didn't get you. Say it again. Your voice is breaking. Huh?
Hello, sir. As per the schedule that we have made yesterday, so including the question and answer session, so we have till 3:20, sir. 3:20 p.m.
So, should I then, if it's 3:15, 3:20, should we keep about half an hour for questions? How much time should I keep for questions?
Yes, sir. No problem, sir.
Huh?
Sir, no issue, sir. We can exceed it till half an hour, sir.
Okay, so then I'll speak for about half an hour, 35 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Now see, the first thing that I'd like to say here, there's a small piece which I give to my students at the end of the year when I finish the semester rather. I usually give this to my student. So I'll just read out this small piece. Okay. Some of you might have even got it before. When I go to teach a class today, there are largely speaking 3 types of responses which I get. The first one is when there's no response, where the student has already decided that mathematics is not for her and she has switched off. The second is where the person is like asleep on the desk because the whole night he or she has been on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And the third response is one which is the most, I would say, something to watch out for. Oh, I know this. I can easily get it from Google search. So these are the 3 responses that I normally get. When I was doing my PhD at Columbia University in New York, one of the top probabilists in the world, Professor David Sigmund, he was the president of the American Mathematical Association. He was taking my class on probability. Despite my best efforts, I was not able to understand what he was teaching. After about a month, I went to his chamber and told him about my predicament. He just pushed me out saying, "Oh, you're doing fine, Kiran." But that did not satisfy me. I felt that if I could not understand such a fundamental course, I was not fit to do a PhD. I therefore started taking courses in the Columbia University Business School. However, in one semester, all what Professor Sigmund had taught started falling in place like a jigsaw puzzle, and I ran back to do my PhD. Whatever little I know about the subject, delta tending to 0, is because of the fact that Professor Sigmund did not come down to my level, but helped me to rise to his. I came back to India and wanted to learn Drupal from Ustad Nasir Aminuddin in Kolkata. I requested him and he agreed to have me with him during my holidays. Excitedly I went, but was very disappointed. He would tune the Tanpura and ask me to sing Sa. कोने में बिठा देते थे और ट्यून कर देते तानपुरा को, बोलते सा लगाओ किरण. And we are doing Sa 1 hour, Sa 2 hours, Sa 8 hours. Then again next day, put the Tanpura, and he would do his own business. He would be going here and there. He would not even sit with me. It seemed as though he was not teaching me. And many a time I had this desire to return home. But something kept me back. After the month was over and I returned to Delhi, I felt that I had just wasted my time in Kolkata. But over a period of time, I realized what a khazana of wisdom had been passed on to me. The realization of the depth of thought contained in some of his utterances dawned on me very slowly but surely. He would say, "Ek sade sab sade, sab sade sab jaye." And he would also say, तुम्हें रे पे जाने की इजाजत तब है जब तुम्हें सा का दर्शन हो जाए. Both Professor Sigmund and Ustad Nasir Aminuddin Dagar showed me the way of touching the alpha zone, the experience of which is something beyond description. From my above mentioned gurus, I learned the method of fathoming the depths of any great thought process. I bow my head in reverence. Now, what is it that I learned from this? I've just said it broadly, but I'm going to now take you to another article and then put it all together. There's another article here which I've written, small one. Amongst the greatest contributions of India to the world has been in the development of different techniques to experience exquisite domains of the inner self which are not clearly visible. Space gets curved due to the effect of gravity, and hence light from the stars also gets bent before it reaches our eyes. This was postulated mathematically by Einstein and was later proven experimentally by applied astrophysicists who took photographs of a total solar eclipse and analyzed them. Einstein also, what he did was, he predicted the existence of gravitational waves. And 100 years after he predicted this, only with pencil, paper, mathematics, and his head, 3 physicists, Rainer Weiss, Kip Thorne, and Barry Barish, got the Nobel Prize for Physics for proving that he was right. Just look at it. 100 years after he postulated something, 3 physicists get the Nobel Prize for proving that Einstein was correct. Higgs did something similar with the boson, whose existence was proven by applied physicists at CERN about 4 decades later. There were about more than 1,000 applied physicists working, setting up the Large Hadron Collider by $9 billion, and they proved that Higgs was correct. What did Higgs do? Just again with pen, paper, and this. What I'm trying to point out here is that the abstraction of the mind is very, 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 very powerful. Dark matter and dark energy, which comprises of about 93% of the whole of universe, we can't even see. What we are seeing is only energy and matter, only about 7%. That means a great part of the truth is hidden from us. A large percentage of the truth is hidden from us. And if we learn the art of entering these domains, these very abstract, subtle, inspiring, and even mystical domains, we will come across great discoveries like Einstein did, like Higgs has done, like Sir Kevin, who postulated the existence of dark matter. So very abstract and deep truths in science have been revealed largely to great Western minds in the recent past. Hypothesized explanations of many fundamental phenomena have been proven experimentally, but are constantly being revised as we come across brilliant minds proposing new sets of hypotheses through deeper insights, which again have to be proven experimentally. A classic example has been the journey for the search of the fundamental particle by scientists through the atom, the electron, proton, the neutron, the quark, the boson, and still more to come. In this part of the world, a very similar process of great minds hypothesizing certain truths has taken place. They have proven them experientially. The difference lies in the method of proof. Experimental in one case, the West, experiential in the other case, our country. Our scientific laboratories were our ashrams, where great research work was carried out in the inward domain. Rishis and Sufi saints used the body and mind as their laboratories and were able to infer truths of a very deep, abstract, subtle, inspiring, and mystical nature. They developed many techniques like yoga, meditation, and our classical arts to reach intense experiential states. Today, faith in this great unseeable truth, in these great unseeable truths, is becoming superficial, and hence show is taking over depth. This can be witnessed in the manner in which our festivals are being celebrated. You know, I was a few years back in Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh, and it was Ganesh Chaturthi, so they were bringing out Ganeshji's murti, and there was tube lights all around Ganesh, and people were doing the disco in front of Ganeshji. I was wondering what Ganeshji must be thinking of his own festival, sitting up there. The Ganga Aarti, which I've seen many years ago and I've seen now, conducted at various places along the river, has been reduced to a spectacle. Our leading gurus are accepting awards, setting up big corporations, attending world financial conferences, conducting cultural extravaganzas, all to impress upon the people of the world over that there's something very valuable in India, which is gradually getting lost. But in the process, we are also losing out on people who can actually enter what I call the alpha domain and stay in there as long as they please. We all of us experience flashes of this very creative domain. If we are doing anything creative, it comes out in flashes. But we are not able to sustain our presence in it. For most of us, entry and exit takes place randomly, while great minds can stay put in the state for as long as they please. Only when there are large number of physicists working will an Einstein emerge. Similarly, when there are large number of people striving to unravel the inner domain, will a Ramakrishna or a Ramana Maharishi or a Nizamuddin Aulia appear. India may become the leading economic, technological, military, artificial intelligence power by the year 2050. But India may not remain India. We might lose the results of centuries of experimentations of our ancestors. We all have to make an effort to prevent this from happening. So these are the two articles on which I will base what I have to say now. Okay, see, what happens is you will say, tell me practically, what is this whole domain which we are talking about? I'm interested, the SCML group is interested in artificial intelligence. It is interested in going into creative domains. How should we do that? Okay. How is all this relevant? I'll tell you what, I'll give you a small little example. You know, when I was learning from Ustad Nasir Aminuddin Dagar, it was just by intuition. I had this intuition that there's a connect between creativity in maths, in mathematics, mind you, and the creativity that is there in our classical arts. It was not just intuition, but many people have said it. So what did he say? What did Ustad Aminan Dagar Sahab have to say? He said, look, Kiran, is there anybody here who doesn't understand Hindi? Is there anybody here who, because once in a while I'll go into Hindi if it's okay. If there's anybody here who doesn't understand Hindi, I'll only speak in English. It's okay, that means, okay? So he said, he used to say it very nice, beautifully. He would say, you know, like all the world over, you have 7 notes. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. In West they call it do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And we have 5 additional notes, which are the flat notes, like tivra and sa, komal re, shudh re. So there are 5 re and 5 notes which are komal and tivra. Okay, ma is tivra. So we have actually, what you are doing is you are dividing a whole scale, 1 octave, into 7 plus 5, 12 frequencies. That's basically what's done. So you can actually look at the 12 frequencies and that's it. But in our country, at one time we even had more than 50 divisions of this, one scale. But after that, at least till Ustad Aminan Dagar Sahab, he used to say, हमारे पास तो 22 श्रुतियां हैं. That means we divide it into 22 parts instead of 12 parts. Now he'd say, why? He said, look, if I sing Komal Re and Ati Komal Re, will you be able to make out the difference? So I said, gaiye, aap gaiye. So he sang. And I couldn't make out the difference. So he said, तुम्हें अभी नहीं पता चल रहा क्या इसका फर्क है कोमल रे और अति कोमल रे का, क्योंकि तुम्हारी बुद्धि अभी मोटी है. हाँ. He said, if you practice hard enough, then you will be able to make out the difference between Komal Ray and Ati Komal Ray. He says, so what? So he says, you will say, oh, ये जो Dagar Sahab अपने आप को बहुत बड़ा समझते हैं because he knows the difference between Komal Ray and Ati Komal Ray. So he said, no. Why? Why is it so important? He said, look, all great things, as I've just mentioned also in the article, even see in this very, very uncertain times, one virus which we cannot see with the naked eye, a small little, very, very tiny little virus has brought the whole world to its knees. Right? Now he would say that, look, if I can make out the difference between Komal Ray and Ati Komal Ray, how will it make a difference? He said all great things are hidden. They are lying in the hidden domain. And what we have to do is, we have to try to enter these hidden domains. With what? With our intellect, with our mind. So we have to make this very, 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 very subtle. To make the mind very, very, very subtle, these are the techniques. He says, for example, अगर आपने marathon दौड़ना हो, तो आप क्या करोगे? You'll run around the field, 1 round, 2 rounds, then go to 10 rounds, then 40 rounds, then how many rounds, and then you'll do a mini marathon, then you'll do a marathon, etc., etc. So it's a long process. Similarly, if you want to develop your strength, you go to a gym and you lift weights, little weight, then more, then more. He said, similarly, if you want to develop your mind creatively, you can develop it. And you can develop it by going into these very, 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 very subtle domains. How? by training it. Now, if I can train my mind to figure out the distinction between Komal ray and Ati Komal ray, you will be able to do very well in mathematics. This is what he would say, tell me. That's a fact. I'm really telling you. In all these techniques which have been developed in this beautiful land of ours, what is the first step? The first step is developing your concentration like a laser beam. So what you do is, you sit down and do 8 hours of sa. Sa, sa, sa. So what happens is, you'll find, if you listen to it very carefully, you'll find your actual sa is going like this. Sa, sa. And you'll find your mind is also wandering like crazy. But as you keep doing sa, and as your sa gets more stabilized, you'll find your mind also gets stabilized. As the mind gets stabilized, you'll find the sa will get stabilized. So there's a correlation between the two. And when you get the sa perfect, sa, then you would say, now you have the ijazat of going to re. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is, at one level, this classical music is just to make the concentration like a laser beam. If you can get sa perfect, you are through. That's the first step. Then what? What's the second step? The second step is, now what am I going to do with this laser beam concentration? Now with this laser beam concentration, I can focus on whatever I want to become like. So what they did was, you will say that Serena Williams has got this fantastic concentration. She has got it by playing tennis. So what's wrong with that? She's played tennis and she has played it day in and day out, and she's got this fantastic laser beam concentration. That's why she's winning all these Grand Slams. But look at the yogi, or look at the classical musician, and look at Serena Williams. If Serena Williams will lose, she will throw her racket down. That is the only difference between her and a yogi. The yogi will not throw his racket down. So what the difference is, that while the yogi develops his or her laser beam concentration, he or she also develops certain things by concentrating on certain ideas. For example, in classical music, on the notes. For example, in other forms of concentration, I might concentrate on the feet of Hari, or I might concentrate on Swami Ramakrishna. So what happens is, the qualities of whatever I'm concentrating start coming into me slowly but surely. So there's a saying which says, you become what you think. Suppose you want to become like Einstein. I'm not saying you become like Einstein, but what you can do is, if you concentrate every day on Einstein, just concentrate on his, face, let us say, you will see that the qualities of Einstein will start coming into you. There's no question about this. It's a fact. And if you do it with this preparation of laser beam concentration, then it will happen much faster. That's what it is. But it may take a couple of lifetimes, huh? It may not happen in one lifetime. But still, in one lifetime itself, you will see the difference in your way of doing things. I have noticed that, when I do on the day that I do my riyaz, and I'm not talking of something which I'm just talking from hearsay. I do get up at 4 o'clock, and for 3 hours I do my riyaz before I go to do anything else, this classical music. And I find that whatever I can do after that becomes fantastic. So at one level, it's concentration, but it's concentration and more. And here, what I want to point out is, it's not me alone who's saying this, but many people have said this. Okay, I'm going to read out one more small thing, which was an article that came out in the Times of India about 2 years ago. It was when Professor Manjul Bhargav of Princeton University got the Fields Medal, the highest award for maths in the world, because there's no Nobel Prize for maths. And there's this article which says the following. There's an organic connection between maths and music, contrary to the perception that one is a cold, rational subject and the other a soft, emotional one. Just as music is more than a collection of notes, mathematics is more than numbers. Both are about structure, pattern, abstractions, and about connecting with nature. The rhythmic movement of the tides of our breath, or that there being exactly the same number of petals in daisies sprinkled across a field, which also corresponds to the Fibonacci numbers in mathematics. This is why Manjul Bhargav, the Princeton-based music mathematician, says he keeps a photograph of a field of daisies in his office. Bhargav, the Fields Medal Award winner, is a concert-level tabla player trained by Zakir Hussain. In his interviews, he talks about the connections between maths, music, and poetry, which, if taught well, could produce an entirely different generation of creative thinkers. These are, I'll also mention something more. I'm not reading the whole article, I'm just taking some pieces. The physicist C.V. Raman did tremendous research on music, says Rao. In fact, his wife was a veena player, so he worked with her to study string instruments. He proved the role of the black patch at the center of the percussion instruments like the mridangam, tabla, and its rocking partner, the dagga. He showed that because the patch is made from animal hide, it gives rise to overtones which are not exact multiples of each other. So the vibrations have to be controlled through the right amount of weight and load when played. This also explains why the black patch is off center in the dagga. Now, I don't want to go through the whole thing, but what I'm just trying to mention here is that the relationship between our classical arts, which I will say is nothing but, it's not music. If you say it's music, it's very, putting it very lightly. It is actually a nad yoga. It's a form of yoga. It's a form of connecting with oneself. And if one does it very well, with a lot of determination, one will find that one can do whatever one wants to do very well. Now, I often say this, that you have to take the best of the West, no one doubts that, but without forgetting what we have to offer to the world. If we can take this 1-2 combination, it will be very beneficial to not only us but to the whole world. I'll just give a small example of how our country has examined. All of us are looking for the truth in some form or the other. The West has also tried. Imagine what great things the West has done. It's never to deride what the West has done. If I put a small command here, I can make the rover on Mars move 1 meter to the left. What a great thing. You have a mobile phone and you can dial it without any lead, nothing, and call up somebody in Timbuktu. There's a place, or Jhumari Talaiya, so what I'm trying to point out is the West has done remarkable work. And I was very fortunate that when I was working in Bell Labs, there were about 7 Nobel laureates there. We used to sometimes see them in the distance. We were very small fry. But I often thought of how is it that this one lab has got so many Nobel laureates, while India, the whole country at that time, didn't even have one in some sense, right? So when I started thinking about it, I said, we have got number of Nobel laureates, as good if not bigger than Nobel laureates. But what is the difference? The difference is the following. See, how the West has approached the truth has been through experimentation, which means that whatever I have to do, I'll have to show it experimentally that it is true. And as I just said, the East has shown it experientially, but they both point to the truth. For example, let me give a small example. How would a Westerner look at the problem of feeling hot? Suppose I'm feeling hot, which I am feeling, then what will happen is, you will say, look, the West will say, if I twirl the air around, I should feel cool, so I develop the fan. That's very good. I say, no, I'm still feeling hot. Then I say expansion of gases has an effect, and I develop the air conditioner, and I feel cool. So how would an Easterner look at the problem, this very same problem? The Easterner will say, I'm feeling hot because the surrounding air is hot. It touches my skin. It sends an impulse to my brain, and the response to that impulse makes me feel hot. What if I can break this impulse response chain? I should feel cool. So what he or she does, gets into Padmasana, sits there using the body as a laboratory, tries out different experiments for many, many, many years, and says, by Jove, I got it. I know how to do it. And I tell Soham, come, I'll teach you how to do it, Soham. Soham will say, no, I'll go to IIT Delhi, go to the refrigeration and air conditioning lab, right? Because here, what we can't see what's happening, but it is happening. For example, if I've mixed two chemicals in the laboratory, I can see the color changing. But here we are mixing the chemicals inside us. We can't see the color changing, but we can feel the color changing. That is the difference. But it's very scientific. If you do A, you do B, C will result. You can check it out. It will result. So what I'm trying to point out to you here is that while you are studying, while you are doing research, please do not settle for just, things that are absolutely visible in some sense, if you read a research paper and you understand it on the first reading, remember, if you understand on the first reading, that means the paper is really puss, sure shot, right? For a good paper, you'd have to read it at least 10 times. And then you might get some idea of what the person is trying to say. It is something like reading Filmfare vis-a-vis reading a book by Munshi Premchand. Okay? So when you are doing research work, please go deep into it and use both experimental as well as the experiential mode in your journey towards touching the truth. I'll end off here. My time is up. I'll end off here. And now I can open the thing to questions or comments or whatever. But I want to keep on the time. All right? If anybody now would like to ask any-
So I just before the question answers, just I would just like to thank you, sir. That I think it was a very, very good talk, and I think the things which you used to I was just telling Divyansh that. So Divyansh asked me that what will sir be saying. So I said that whatever he used to tell us in brief, he will be expanding on that, and he will go into more depth. And I think people are already saying that there are examples like uh, the examples that you gave with the insights that you gave. There's a lot to think about. Like someone said that it is already giving that person goosebumps now, because your your experience is the Easterner's way. It's an experiential form, and uh, I think there's not much to say, but I will just happy Teachers Day, sir, because today is also Teachers Day, and hence I selected this day for the webinar. Now I will just take. I'll request Arijit to continue and to conduct the question answer sessions. So whoever wants to ask a question in the message box, just put in your name. And Arijit, please take over and
Yes.
conduct the session.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful talk. And it's I have goosebumps, and I never I was hidden from this truth, because this sometimes I feel like I'm doing research on emotion analysis, so it's hard to actually understand human emotions through machine learning or deep learning approaches. But the main thing is that sometimes I feel like I have to produce a paper because my PhD have the time foundation is there, but I cannot stop here. I have to go, but because of the time, I have to stop here. So the talk from you, it's amazing. Thank you so much, sir. So
Thank you.
anybody wants to ask questions, please.
Yeah, I would like to ask questions. I'm Lakshay here.
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah.
The-
Hi.
yeah, hi. So this was very nice session and good explanation regarding the role of music. So I have two questions, sir. So first one is that you tell the role of concentration, and now with the full concentration, we learn the concepts. And after learning the concepts, what happens? We learn and then keep those concepts, like in the operation research courses we have learned. But after some time, we only use a little bit of those concepts. And what happens is that after some time, I don't even know, if you ask me what is maximum likelihood estimation, because I'm not using it. And then once I go in some interview, they ask me such questions. So how to deal with those concepts which we are not using, but it suddenly came those concepts. So how to tackle with that? Suppose with the full concentration I read during the course structure, but now I forgot. So how to deal with that? This is my first question. And the second question is, like, we always read this decision theory and all those things. So how to take the decision in the life if I feel that two options are equally important to me? How to choose the best one out of those two? So these are the two questions I would like to ask.
Okay. In the first question, why should you forget? Come on, Lakshay. I tell you, you may forget that you may forget
Yeah.
that the actual market, say the formulas exactly, you might forget.
Yeah.
But the concept, if you have understood the concept, that is what they're looking for. The concept will always, it's like riding a bicycle. If you don't ride a bicycle for, I've not ridden a bicycle for, I don't know how many years, but if you give me a bicycle, I'm sure I can ride it right now.
So the reason, sir, is that because what's happening now is that we are just using the softwares and we are just using a function for that, and then actually we are not employing those concepts. So how to take it?
That is why I'm saying you do a little bit of, you do SA every day.
Yeah.
And you will see how it have an effect. You know, even if you don't do SA, just what you do is, you can, buy this, even not but buy, on your mobile phone, there's an app for Tanpura. When you're doing any work, just keep it on, or play classical music.
Yeah.
It is meditation through the back door. I'm telling you.
Actually, I'm doing
that. Yeah. What you'll find is that your concentration, see, finally, your memory is all up here, right? It's all up here. Now, if you want this part to be like that, you'll have to give it nutrition every day. You have to give it nutrition. If you want to keep your memory very sharp, you must practice something that will keep your memory sharp. And these are some of the things that will help you.
Sure, sure.
And I'm not talking of a detailed formula, but I'm talking of also it's a way of approach. I'll tell you something. Today, what people are doing, as you rightly said, they are programs for everything. So you just feed in the thing and you get out the output and that's done. But most of the time, what's happening inside the black box, we don't know. Or even if we have know it, we take it for granted. चलो कोई बात नहीं है, हमें पता है अंदर डालना, बाहर क्या आएगा वो वही हमें चाहिए.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you why do I always say that you must concentrate on understanding the theoretical part? I keep emphasizing. If you understand the theoretical part, you can always come down from the theoretical part to the practical part. But it's a one-way street. Going from the practical part to theoretical part, very tough.
Very tough. Yes, sir.
So, see, one Einstein in the abstract can generate 1 million ideas for theoretical physics, for practical physics, applied physics to work on. Look at that. What a great thing. So what you have to do is try and approach the theoretical part, getting your mind worked up in such a way that you at least understand the concept of the maximum likelihood estimator. What is the concept? Bus. Then everything can flow like this. You just open the book and everything will flow out. So the concept is very important. That's number one.
Sure.
Regarding this, have I answered that question? First
Yes,
one,
sir. Yes,
somewhat?
sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
The second part, the decision making. Remember, it's very difficult to make a correct decision. Very, very tough. I'll tell you, there's no correct decision actually. You know what the decision is? I'll tell you. In my opinion, the decision which you make, usually people who make decisions, they'll make a decision taking the easier route, not the tougher route. That's number one. So one thing you have to be very careful about is do not rationalize and say, oh, you know, this is a better route. No, you have to think it very carefully. It is an easier route. There's a difference between an easier route and a better route, right? The better route need not be easier. It usually is tougher. It usually is a tougher route that is the better route. But even if you take any route, row the boat well. If you row the boat with all sincerity, you will reach a shore where another boat will be waiting for you. But if you do not row the boat sincerely, there will be no boat waiting for you. This I can tell you.
So it's just
So
like
what-
sorry.
No.
It's
No,
just
no,
like,
it's okay.
It's just like take
Go
the
ahead.
decision, and it's just like take the decision and go there. Don't sit on just choosing which decision to take. It's just that sit on the boat and then just go.
Yeah, and the point is, I think, at least that I have found out, that in my experience, the life has been the process of finding out what you don't want to do, not what you want to do. It's by process elimination. Look, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And finally, it just sort of comes to where you want to go. It's not a question of finding out what you want to do. That's a very tough thing. It's very difficult to find out. But you can find out easier what you don't want to do. That is the way I think the thing operates.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, sir. Yes, sir. It's answered my question. Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Next, I think Arpan wants to ask question. Arpan?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. I am Arpan from the Department of Electrical Engineering. I am doing PhD and my research work is on renewable energy systems.
Where?
In IIT-Delhi, sir.
Okay, Arpan. Tell me, Arpan.
Yeah, sir. Actually, the lecture was very interesting for me because I have been learning Indian classical music from my mother. And regarding this Sa, it was really interesting because I consider Sa as a unit vector. And and my question was about the music, about the scientifical interpretation of the ragas, because one of the raga which is very dear to me is the Bhairav raga.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when I do rivas with the Bhairav raga, this transition from Komal Re to Suddha Ga, it is really, when I sing, I feel like I am transcending from knowing nothing to knowing everything. And again, when I am coming back from Suddha Ni to Komal Dha, that time I feel I know everything, but I know nothing. So, so at some point of time, I thought maybe the frequencies are affecting my inner working of my mind and body. So, if you can elaborate on this topic?
See, the way it affects people, I think, is varies. Like it affects you in a particular way because of your upbringing. It affects me in a different way. For example, what I'll tell you how beautifully Ustad Amindin Daga Sahab used to say. He would say in Rag Bhairav only, you're talking of Rag Bhairav, I'll talk of Rag Bhairav only.
Yes.
So he would say that, there's Shuddhni in Rag Bhairav, right?
Yes.
So, Ni Sa, right? Ni Sa. Now what he would do is he'd say that, look, the real, when you're doing your riyaz, you do Bhadat. Bhadat is that you go sa re, then you go sa re ga ma, pa. So you keep going, you do the Bhadat, right? And you get different feelings like what you have said. You get different feelings, but different people get different feelings. But he said something very beautiful. He said, but one feeling which everybody will get, what he said was, if you see any great musician, he will go to Ni in any raga and then come down. He'll go to Ni and then come down. And he'll go to Ni and come down. He says, why does that happen? He says, why are we not going to Sa? He says that Ni is, when you are at Ni, you get the feeling of Nirakar Brahma, the Nirakar Roop of Brahma. But when you go to Sa, you have to be ready to see the Sakar Roop. The Sakar Roop. Now that is a great thing. He says because it's not easy to see the Sakar Roop. So you go to Ni and you come down. You go to Ni and you come down. Till you are ready to see the Sakar Roop. Then you can go to Sa. So what he says is the intermediate state will be different for different people. But the final thing is to reach the Sakar Roop. And that Sa is the, in fact, he used to say very beautiful thing. He said, कि जो musician है, musician नहीं, he would say, जो person है, वो कितने गहरे पानी में है, वो कैसे सा लगाता है उससे पता चल जाता है. That's what he used to say. Does that somewhat answer your question? I don't know whether it can't, when you go from Komal Re to Shuddha, you get a particular feeling. I get a different feeling. Another person will get a different feeling. It depends on your upbringing, but they're all wonderful feelings.
Yes,
That
yes.
is the basic, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Yeah. Okay. Does that somewhat?
Yes, sir. My question is answered, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
So we have Abhinav. Abhinav Chatterjee. Okay, I think.
Turn on your mic. Abhinav Chatterjee, please turn on your mic.
I think he's not here. So we will go Shiladitya Shaha.
Yeah, hi. Yeah. Am I audible first of all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, sir. It's a It's hello, sir. Am I audible to you?
Sir, you have turned off your microphone. Microphone.
Yeah, go ahead. I turned it off so that I could hear you properly.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, okay, sir.
I'll put it on again. First you
Okay.
say what you have to say, then I'll put it on.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Sir, what I have to start with namaskar to you because you are such a person whom I think and I can take some name also, Arijit, Sandeepan, Dipjyoti. When we were in MTech in NIT Durgapur, we used to worship you in that sense. So today it's a privilege for me to see you, and I think after Eclair, I am consciously taking that example also because we have taken you as our teacher first. Then today is the privileged day when we actually got your teaching. So now I'll straightforward going to the question because time is precious. Sir, like you have taken few initiative and the spontaneity that I have seen in you in this age, obviously it's amazing. Probably uh, even with the young students of yours couldn't show such a spontaneity in this time. So can we go something for the masses? I mean, music has done a lot for the privileged people, like the students of NIT, IITs, and all the professors of our times. So to some extent, we are the privileged ones. So can we go for something to the downtrodden? I mean, see, I'm giving you one example, like tabla. Tabla has come to the to its actual position. But there are a few other instruments like where I am right now residing. It's a northern part of Bengal where they have iktara. It's a string instrument, or dotara, and their dotara is totally different from the dotara that we have seen in the western part of Bengal, like in Birbhum in Santiniketan. So these are the instruments, or like a dhol type instruments that a percussion one. They have tremendous what should I say? Uh, they have talents, but they couldn't show it to the proper platform. So can we do something? I mean, as you have taken such an initiative, it's arts from my end as well as from the other people also, like the thing we are doing in Virasat. Can we do something to accommodate these people in the flow of this generation, or this contemporary world? What should I say? So
Should
that
I
is my
answer?
question.
Should I answer, Shiladitya?
Sure, sir, if you
We have
can.
done, Shiladitya, we have done lots of these already. For example, we have taken bowl singers who use the ektara and who use the dagga. We have taken them all over. We have taken them. We have taken them to different parts of India, and there's even this Parvati Baul. I don't know whether you've heard of her. Have you heard of Parvati Baul?
Yes, sir, I have listened to her.
Yeah. So, people, we have taken folk traditions right into the interiors. We are not only doing programs in IITs and NITs, we are doing programs deep in the interiors. We are taking people to go into the villages. These things are not known because, nowadays media highlights only those things that are either connected with Bollywood, Hollywood, or cricket, or politics. All the other things are not important. You understand what I'm saying? So what people are doing, so many people in our country are doing such lovely work, but nothing is highlighted. And here also in SPICMACY, we have taken artists to go deep in the interiors. And with your help, Shiladitya, we'll do more if you give us a little bit of your time, because it's a voluntary movement. Now, if you say, I'll give you an example. I'll give you one example. There was a person by the name of Rajkumar Singh who was with us. He said, why are we not going into the villages? I'm not talking of 25 years ago. He said, we should go more into the villages. I said, come on, you do it. Why don't you do it? So what he did was, he said, okay, I'll do it. So he made some of artists and took artists to small places in Bihar, because he was from Bihar. Begusarai, Jainagar, Barsoi, Betia, All these places he took these artists, and thousands of villagers watched them. Please don't think that these are elitist. You know, you're from Bengal. I'll tell you, there used to be an all Bengal conference at one time in Kolkata. And rickshawalas used to leave their rickshaw and sit the whole night and hear classical music. So it is not elitist. If somebody gets, if somebody gets touched by it, the question is only of getting touched by it. The reason why we are not touched by it is that we are not exposed to it. The reason why we are not exposed to it is because we are not exposed to it at the right time. We are not exposed to it when we are growing up. I remember I grew up in Bengal because, as Soham said, I grew up in IIT Kharagpur, and I saw Bengali mothers who would take their little children and sit on their laps for these whole night concerts. And if the child moved, they say, "Aak jhapad devo." And what happened was that it's that stage when we have to bring in these things. We have to bring it in at the stage of pre-primary. In fact, my friend who was in IIM Bangalore, IIM Kolkata, who used to teach there, he told me that when his wife became pregnant, he took her to the top gynecologist in Kolkata. And the gynecologist told him, he's a hard-nosed business guy, but he told him he's only play classical music just 9 months of pregnancy. We played only classical music, and he told me at that time that he's got two sons who are very 22 and 24, something like that, who are very bright, not into classical music, but very, very, very fine human beings. And he attributes that fineness to that suggestion given by that gynecologist, which he followed. So this has got many ramifications. These things, this heritage which we have built up is, first of all, not elitist. Number two, it can reach everybody, but it is not reaching people because we are stuck to the idiot box. We are stuck to saas bhi kabhi bahu thi. If both the parents are working, the child is at home, he is looking at his cell phone, and what will he see? There's no direction. At that young age, I feel that, we have forgotten how to direct young people. I'll again tell you how the traditional way of teaching, you might not agree with it, but in the traditional way of teaching, there was no questioning. You had to do what the guru said. And if you didn't want to do it, please go. Because the understanding of what the guru is talking about takes many, 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 many years to come into you. So what we have to do, if you really want to promote some of the things which you are talking about, Shiladitya, you will have to go now to primary, pre-primary, these type of places. You have to take these people who are doing it with ek tara, do tara, and the daga. You'll have to take them to be face to face with these small children, who will then imbibe it, and then as they grow older and come into NIT Durgapur, then they say, "Bhai wah, ye to wahi cheez hai." That is what is. This is the greatness of what I now understand. It takes a lot of time. Okay? Does that somewhat answer your question, Shiladitya?
Definitely, sir. It's a pure insight from your end. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So can we take, sir, one or such questions? Like we have 2 questions.
We'll finish by 3:30. We have got 10 more. You can take 10 more minutes, and then we must finish at 3:30. Not to drag it further.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. 3:30 is the upper control limit. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So Anil, he has a question. How do we incorporate these insights in the school and college curriculum so the students are exposed systematically to the mental discipline of inward experiential learning even while being taught the conventional sciences? That's the question. Anil?
Yeah, yeah. See, in in the standard way of teaching, it is very difficult because you see the teachers must themselves be gurus. Today, teachers are teachers; they are not gurus. A guru is one who teaches a subject and more. But what is happening today? Teachers are just teaching the subject. The and more part is missing because the teachers themselves are not equipped to that and more because they have been watching Kaun Banega Karodpati all their lives or Kaun Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. They have not been equipped to give that and more. So if you force fit anything, it becomes very difficult. What I would say is in the school system, we should keep some hours in the week for the students to either interact with or be exposed to great things. For example, what we are doing in SPICMACY, we are trying to expose them to just to sit in front of Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia. If you sit in front of Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji, you will find that even the child, we are not trying to teach the child how to play the flute. We are not trying to teach the child what is the raga. Just sitting there, something will be transmitted. And that something is what is critical. You see, if I'm inspired, I will go to the end of the earth to find it. I have to make the horse thirsty. If I make the horse thirsty, the horse will run wherever to find water. Like that. So what we have to do is, in the present scenario, I don't think you can put a structure. Also, there's nothing wrong in having, teaching some, like they are bringing it now into the system. They're bringing classical arts and things like that. But art for art's sake is not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at art. Indian art in India has always been philosophical. Ganga Devi doing Madhubani painting is doing the same thing as Ustad Aminuddin Dagar singing Drupad, is doing the same thing as Guru Amanur Madhav Chakyar doing Kudiyattam. So in our country, the arts have been a means to an end, not an end in themselves. That part is missing nowadays. Now we can teach in a school, we can teach a technique. We can teach that the Rag Bhairav has got Sa, Komal Re, Shudga, Shudma, Pa, Komal Dha, Shudni, Sa. We can do that. And there's nothing wrong in doing that. You can do that too. But without the additional thing of that inspiring element, it will be like a lifeless thing. So there are very few gurus left. But there are people who are carriers of a great tradition. If they can be brought face to face with more of the young people, that is the way of going forward. Why did we not also make a big effort towards getting in the education system? We could have also, instead of going through this procedure like we have gone in SPICMACY for the last 43 years, right from the beginning I could say, like we are teaching maths, we should be teaching music. But I didn't go that way. Or rather, we didn't go that way. We said, yes, that should also be done if it can be done. But the more important thing is to bring Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia in front of Arajit. He should be able to sit in front of Arpan. He should be able to sit in front of Shiladitya and just Sandipan and just face to face. Bas. Then after that, it's like a catalyst which will do its own job. Does that answer your question somewhat? Hello?
Anil? Hello, Anil?
Does that answer the question somewhat?
Yes,
For
yes,
me,
sir.
sir.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It does very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, sir, now our two of our little group, they are not our group member, but they have prepared uh, 2 paintings as a token of gratitude. So
Yeah.
I'm sharing my screen.
I think there is a question.
Oh,
Last question we can take, like if
okay.
just for a couple of.
It's from Devanjali Bhattacharya. So sorry,
Yeah.
Just after presenting this token of
Yeah.
gratitude, we will take, sir. Sir, can we take this 1 or 2 questions?
Yeah, please.
Go ahead,
So-
Devanjali, come on. Hi, Devanjali. Hi. Hi, Devanjali.
Please turn on your mic. Yeah.
Mike.
Devanjali is in England. She used to be with us. She's in UK.
Okay. No, we cannot hear. Please turn on in the computer that there's a button beside the camera. No, you are not audible.
Let her write down the question.
Yeah, please write down the
She
question.
can put in the chat quickly.
So, sir, in between, can we just show you the pictures that have been drawn by you?
We should finish at 3:30, please, huh?
Okay,
Please.
sir.
Okay.
So, Ajit, can you please?
Yes.
Oh,
So
very nice, very nice.
This picture is drawn by Dibakar Paul.
Thank
And
you.
And this
Very
picture
nice.
is drawn by Arpita Nandi.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Tell them, please thank them on my behalf.
So they are
Thank
here.
you very
They can hear you. They are
Okay,
with us.
thank you. Thank you, both of you. I thank you, Arpita and
Dibakar.
Divakar.
Sir.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
Teachers Day, sir.
Thank you, Arpita.
Happy
And
Teachers Day, sir.
thank you, Divakar. Thank you. Very nice of you. Quickly. Now, Devanjali, we have to finish. If Devanjali is coming on, otherwise we have just got 5 more minutes.
Okay. So, she has written the question.
Yeah. What did she said?
I have my 9-year-old son here who listened to only Indian classical music. For the first few months of his life, he heard Hariji this January for the first time in Delhi. How do
nice.
we keep this desire burning?
Keep playing music in your house, classical music. It'll burn nicely. Just, in anything of depth, the main thing, Devanjali, is repetition. Why do we keep repeating? If you see when they chant the shlokas, they keep repeating. Because as you keep repeating, you say, why are they repeating the same thing again and again and again? But repetition, what it does is, it brings the essence of what is being repeated into your system. So, if you keep on playing Hariji, or if you keep on playing classical music, surely your 9-year-old child, your 9-year-old son will become, if not a musician, which we don't want everybody to be a musician, but he'll surely become a rasik, for sure, a rasik. and be able to use the elements of our classical arts in his life for doing whatever he's doing much better. That's all. Does that answer your question, Debanjali? Just type out yes or no. Does that answer your question, Debanjali?
She is typing.
Okay.
So we have 3 comments for you, sir. So Orijit, can you please read out these comments? 3 comments we have.
Okay, Devanjali said, yes, sir, he has heard you this morning too.
Wonderful.
From Bhuvesh Goel, we have a comment. Orijit.
Sorry.
Bhuvesh Goel.
Bhuvesh has a comment.
Yes. Bhupesh Goel, wishing you a very happy Teachers Day, sir. It is always great listening from you, sir. Thank you for this session. Okay, he left us because he has classes from.
The next from Abhinav Chatterjee.
Yes. Wish you a very happy Teachers Day, Professor Kiran Seth. Awesome lecture and the discussion. Your energy and effort are always inspiring for all young students and citizens like us. Dhanyawad. Namaste.
Okay.
And
thank you. I wish you all a very all the best in whatever you are doing. Okay. Bye bye.
There are two more comments.
Yeah.
Lakshay Taneja, nice drawing. Sir is looking cute in them. Lakshay.
And
Saurabh
Saurabh
Chaudhary, wish you a very happy Teachers Day, sir. It's been a blessing listening to you speak. Please accept my gratitude and thank you so much, sir. Nandan Banerjee, thank you, Professor Kiran Seth, sir, for this insight with music and technology as a philosopher. Really, it's nice session. And Devanjali, again, he can't wait to meet you.
Wonderful. Okay then.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Yeah.
So do not leave right now. We have some special announcement. Okay, it was a overall great webinar. So thanks to Kiran Seth sir, came to know for enlightening us and came to know about many things. And now I will hand over this to Orijit Nandi. So if you Orijit, please proceed. You can proceed.
You can proceed on behalf. You
okay,
please.
So there was a special announcement on behalf of the SML group. So the group, I mean, anyone who wants to be a member of this group, they can mail us and just they can mention their name and what they are doing in institute they are working as of now, and then we can add them to our WhatsApp group. And in this month we have many such webinars. So 3 faculties will be invited from IIT-Delhi and 1 faculty will be from Germany, Velardo. So I hope so till then we can communicate with each other, and for to get the updates regarding the SML group, you can follow our LinkedIn official page. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. So I think we can end the session. Soham?
Okay. Yeah.
Sandipan?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yes. I think.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.